Good morning dear students, welcome to Genesis. Well, in today's class we are mainly going to discuss pollution caused by radiations and noise. So first let us understand what are radiations. Radiations are basically a form of energy, but this form of energy consists of high energy particles. Now these radiations are mainly used in two fields. One is in the field of medicine where we use X-rays, and we already know that these X-rays are extremely important to us in diagnosing any problem related to our bones. But equally important is to know about this fact that these X-rays, they are extremely harmful to us. So overexposure to these radiations can cause bone cancer, it can cause genetic variation, as well as it can disturb your chromosomes. That means they can basically damage the structure of the chromosomes. So people who deal with X-rays, especially in hospitals, they must remain extra careful about protecting themselves from these radiations. The another area where these radiations are used are our nuclear power plants. Remember one thing, these nuclear power plants are the areas where electricity gets generated. To generate this electricity, they basically use radioactive materials like uranium and radium. But these radioactive materials give out radiations which are extremely harmful to us. There are two examples of nuclear power plant explosions given in our book. Number one is the Chernobyl. You need to remember the area where it happened as well as the country. So Chernobyl is in Ukraine, and in the year 1986 there was a nuclear power plant explosion. Second example is Fukushima Daiichi, which is in Japan, and it happened in the year 2011. In both the cases, remember one thing, with radiations, the biggest problem is their reach is extensive. So they don't remain localized. They will go to areas which are 5 kilometers, 6 kilometers, even 7-8 kilometers away from the site of the explosion, and everyone who gets exposed to these radiations will have a chance of suffering from cancer or different kinds of mutations. And remember, these mutations will not just affect one generation but also can affect the next generations. In both of these explosions, the pollutant which basically caused the havoc is known as iodine-131. So exposure of the radiation of iodine-131 mainly causes a type of cancer which is called thyroid cancer. The last part of your syllabus, there is another example given which is about a very careless way of discarding radioactive waste. Now let's understand where are these radioactive wastes produced. Well, apart from the nuclear power plants, apart from hospitals, they are also produced in research institutes. And people who are doing this research, if they are not aware about the ways to properly discard the radioactive material, they can cause serious threat to people who live around that area of the research institute. See, the best way to discard these radioactive material is to put them into container and then make a deep pit in the soil and then cover it with the soil. But if this is not done and given out in waste bins or in dust bins, then local people can directly come in contact with these radioactive materials. One such thing happened in Mayapuri, Delhi in 2010, where a kabariwala by mistake probably picked up the radioactive material Cobalt 60, and this came in contact with civil people around. As a result of which many were exposed, many died, many suffered from various diseases and burns. So with radiations, we need to be very, very careful. Though they are helpful to us, but they have equal and very heavy burden of disadvantages that they carry. Let us quickly understand what is noise pollution. Remember one thing, any unpleasant or loud sound which basically interferes with communication and concentration will be considered as noise. Now this can be created from various sources like industries, aircrafts, automobiles, loudspeakers. So when we say noise pollution, let us try to understand what are the problems that arises because of this pollution. Number one, it will interfere in communication. Imagine you are trying to talk something serious to your friend and there is somebody very close to you playing loud music. That will interfere the communication. Second, interrupts concentration. So if you are trying to do some serious reading and if somebody is talking very loudly or there is a loud music that gets played, it is definitely going to disturb your concentration. concentration. See, many of us prefer to study keeping music on by our side, but that is softly played. But imagine if you play loud music, will you be able to concentrate? I don't think so. Next is it lowers the efficiency of work. Again, when you are trying to do something serious which requires intensive concentration, it is definitely going to hamper. Noise will definitely reduce the efficiency of the work. Next is it disturbs sleep. If there is loud music, or if somebody is burning firecrackers, or there is an aeroplane flying right over your house, it will definitely impact your sleep, and then it can cause damage to your ear. So that means if you are always exposed to loud music, then over a period of time it is going to damage your ears, and it can even lead to deafness. And then it also disturbs lives of birds. See, nowadays human beings, we have become very positive. We are just not thinking about us, we are also trying to think about dogs, cats, and even birds, right? That is why there are many places where during Diwali they have kind of stopped burning firecrackers, not just because it is causing pollution and causing harm to us, but it immensely affects the life of these birds. So these birds, their life can be made better by just making few changes in the lifestyles of human beings. And the last part comes, what are the measures that we can take to reduce noise pollution? See, number one is prohibiting blowing of horns. Where exactly? Especially in front of schools and hospitals. See, schools are areas where you require concentration. Similarly, hospitals are those places where patients require sleep. So in these areas, we must prohibit blowing horns. Next is restriction of using loudspeakers during night. See, in many of the places I've seen, people still continue to play loud music, or probably there is a concert going on even after 10 at night. But sometimes this can be very, very detrimental for kids and for elderly people living around that area. That is why concerts or big shows, they are held in places which are far away from the residential area. And if you are in a residential area, then if you are playing loud music, you also have to make sure that you are not disturbing sleep of people who are living around that area. Then is planting trees. This is a very, very good way of reducing noise pollution. See, plants have this amazing quality to absorb sound. So if you can build a house with trees all around it, definitely it is going to reduce the noise pollution around your house. Next is not burning firecrackers. We are aware of this, that if we can actually stop burning firecrackers on that day of Diwali, a huge amount of noise pollution gets created because we are celebrating something. But our celebration does not only talk about our happiness. If you are celebrating something, you also have to think about others. You have to think about dogs, you have to think about birds, you have to think about kids and elderly people. With this, we have finished pollution caused by radiations and noise. In my next class, we are going to see the effects of these pollution. Till then, keep revising, post your doubts, and share my channel. Thank you.